Lamine the Dream was an absolute sensation tonight. I mean, wow, what a performance.
And the winner is Lamine Yamal.
Football fans, brace yourselves. There's a 17-year-old sensation taking the football world by storm, and astonishingly, not enough people are talking about it. His name? Lamine Yamal, a prodigy from Barcelona. He's not just making waves, he's redefining what's possible at his age. In an era where young talents emerge regularly, Yamal stands out. At just 17 years and 271 days, he already has 100 appearances for Barcelona's first team, a feat that puts him ahead of legends like Messi and Ronaldo at the same age. But here's the scary truth. While the footballing world watches in awe, many are still underestimating the magnitude of his talent and the trajectory he's on. This isn't just another young player with potential. This is a generational talent unfolding before our eyes. Let's rewind the tape and go back to where it all began. Lamine Yamal was born on July 13, 2007, in Esplugues de Llobregat, just outside Barcelona. His roots are diverse. A Moroccan father, a mother from Equatorial Guinea, and his upbringing was anything but glamorous. He grew up in Rocafonda, one of Spain's most overlooked neighborhoods. And it was there, on the gritty streets, that his fearless street-style flair was born. His parents split when he was 3, and bouncing between his mum's place in Granollers and his dad's in Rocafonda only made him tougher. Now here's where the story takes a crazy turn. By the time Lamine was 4 years old, yep, you heard that right, he was already playing organised football. The kid was tearing it up for a local team called CF La Torreta, and when he was 6, Barcelona came calling. Barca scouts spotted him, and it was like love at first sight. He joined La Masia, one of the greatest football academies on earth. And get this, there's a picture from back in the day of baby Lamine in a bathtub being held by Lionel Messi. Actual footage. It was part of a charity event back in 2008. Who would have thought that that tiny kid in Messi's arms would grow up to one day take the same pitch? At La Masia, Lamine didn't just blend in, he stood out. He flew through the age groups, always playing with kids 2 or 3 years older than him. By 15, he was already training with the Barcelona first team. Imagine that, math homework after school and then nutmegging world-class defenders in the evening. Even when he was called up to train with the senior squad, he didn't act starstruck. He played like he belonged. So while other 15-year-olds were playing video games and stressing about school exams, Lamine Yamal was out there dropping jaws in training sessions with Xavi's squad and still managing to stay in school. It's wild to think about how far he's come already, but what's even crazier, that was just the beginning. From his very first touch, 15-year-old Lamine Yamal had Camp Nou buzzing. On April 29, 2023, he came on in a 4-0 win over Real Betis and immediately broke records. At 15 years, 9 months, 16 days, he became Barcelona's youngest ever La Liga player. He nearly scored off a dribble and a clever chip moments after coming on, forcing a great save. Proof that even in just a few minutes he could have quite an impact, as the club put it. Xavi praised him for his debut, saying,
Lamine, crec que ha demostrat el que és. No té por, amb 15 anys, té aquest talent de 3 quarts endavant que és tan difícil de trobar al futbol mundial.
His rise didn't start there, it started at La Masia. Xavi saw enough in those sessions to skip the wait list. He told the board, this one's different. And when the 23-24 season began, Yamal wasn't just a squad filler, he was starting. Week in, week out against grown men, La Liga veterans. He tore apart Cadiz, destroyed Villarreal, and by the end of the year, had 50 senior appearances under his belt. At 16, that's not progress, that's a meteor. Then the records started crumbling. Youngest player to start a league match for Barca, Lamine. Youngest to register an assist, Lamine. Youngest to score in La Liga, yep, Lamine again. And then came Spain. On September the 8th, 2023, Yamal became the youngest player to ever debut for the Spanish national team. But he didn't just make an appearance, he scored. Against Georgia, he slid into the box and tucked it in like a seasoned veteran. And then came the Euro call-up. A 16-year-old is walking into the senior squad for the European Championship. It should have been pressure, but for Lamine, it was just another playground. He didn't just play, he led. He was voted the tournament's Young Player of the Tournament, having finished with 4 assists. And when this season started, there was a lot of noise because of the new manager incoming at Barcelona. But it only showed that Lamine Yamal's brilliance is not dependent on a particular manager or a system. He has absolutely thrived under Flick too. His performance against Inter Milan in the first leg was just out of this world. He scored a sensational solo goal in a 3-3 semi-final first leg draw against Inter Milan. That strike not only pulled Barca back into the tie after going 2-0 down, but also made Yamal the youngest ever scorer in a Champions League semi-final, breaking Kylian Mbappe's record. Even Inter's manager, Simone Inzaghi, said Yamal created a lot of problems for us and called him a talent that is born every 50 years. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the comparisons. It's impossible to watch Lamine Yamal play and not think about 2 names, Lionel Messi and Neymar. And here's the scary part. He's showing signs of both, but at an even younger age than when those two started cooking. Let's start with the obvious, the Messi stuff. Left-footed? Check. Playing on the right wing and cutting inside with those razor-sharp dribbles? Check. A low centre of gravity, close control, and that uncanny ability to carry the ball like it's glued to his boot? Massive check. The way Lamine glides past defenders doesn't just remind you of young Messi, it feels like watching 2006 Messi all over again. In fact, Xavi himself said after one of Yamal's performances, he has flashes of Messi. Not a fan tweet, not some media hype, Xavi said that. But then there's the Neymar side of him, the flair, the confidence, the joy, and now the hair too. You can tell Neymar was his idol just by watching him. He's got that boldness to try the impossible. A nutmeg here, a cheeky back heel there. His creativity isn't just for highlights, it's effective. He creates space out of thin air and puts the ball exactly where it needs to be. In fact, in his first 100 games for Barca, Yamal registered more assists than Messi or Neymar did at that same milestone. While Messi had 21 and Neymar had 26 assists after 100 appearances, Lamine had 33. And he did it all before even turning 18. Positionally, Lamine is doing what both Messi and Neymar did early on, hugging the wing, beating his man, and drifting inside when it matters. He usually operates on the right flank like young Leo, but his movement is fluid. Under Xavi and now Hansi Flick, he's even being used centrally or occasionally on the left, just like Neymar did during his time at Barca and PSG. And he's not just floating around. Tactically, he's becoming one of Barca's most reliable creative outlets. He stretches the pitch, takes on defenders, and feeds guys like Lewandowski and Rafinha with inch-perfect service. It's like watching someone born from the best parts of both legends. The joy and daring of Neymar, the balance and brilliance of Messi. Make no mistake, Lamine is starting to write his own legacy. So what's next for Lamine Yamal? The sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning. Contract-wise, Barcelona is locking in their gem. After signing a deal in 2023 valid until 2026, the club is now working on a long-term extension to reflect his meteoric rise. Agent George Mendes has confirmed that Yamal will extend his contract beyond 2026, ensuring his future remains at Camp Nou. Looking ahead, the Ballon d'Or isn't just a dream, it's a tangible goal. Pundits like Rio Ferdinand believe that if Barcelona clinches the Champions League, Yamal could be a legitimate contender for the award. Now look, it's easy to get carried away. We've seen young stars burn bright and fade fast, but with Yamal, it just feels different. Hey, what do you think? Can Lamine Yamal go all the way and become the next big face of world football? Or is it still too early to tell?